And so there's all this social conflict. There's this polarization. And there's no way. Like, what's happening now is they're taking taxpayer dollars from people who work, like, let's say us, for example. All our kids are homeschooled, but we still pay taxes.
Yeah.
Even though they're not in
To
the public
support
school.
the public school.
Yeah,
Right.
and the public school system, they're teaching that there's more than two genders. There's all
Yeah,
this
they're
stuff.
not teaching our values.
No. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Pastor and Wife podcast.
We welcome you to hang out with us today.
I'm Hansel.
I'm Natalie.
Okay, we're talking about today something that's been coming up lately. I've been talking to young people, and they have some teaching that they found online that Jesus was a socialist.
Yeah, well, I've heard older people say the same thing. It's going around.
Yeah, I've heard an elder that said point blank, Jesus was a socialist, and so we should support socialism. And I was like, wow, I think that might be an error.
Okay.
In fact, I do think it's an error. But let me read some verses that they would tout, because there's a lot in the Bible about caring for the poor.
Yeah.
And treating them as equals, right? One of them is Deuteronomy 15, 7 through 11. I know this is kind of longer, but I want to read it. It says, if among you one of your brothers should become poor in any of your towns within your land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not harden your heart or shut your hand against your poor brother, but you shall open your hand to him and lend him sufficient for his need, whatever it may be. Take care lest there be an unworthy thought in your heart, and you say, the seventh year is the year of release is near. That's the year of Jubilee. That's not the year of Jubilee, but every seventh year you give back. And your eye looking grudgingly on your poor brother and give to him nothing, and he cries to the Lord against you, and you will be guilty of sin. You shall give to him freely, and your heart shall not be begrudgingly. Your heart shall not be grudging when you give to him, because for this is the Lord your God. Because of this, the Lord your God will bless you in all your work and all that you undertake. Therefore, never cease to be. For there will never cease to be poor in the land. Therefore, I command you, you shall open wide your hand to your brother, to the needy, and to the poor in your land. And in the New Testament, the church shared everything with each other.
Yeah.
There's even church members that sold land so that everyone in need could be taken care of. So there's a very strong argument that Christianity is compatible with socialism. What do you think?
Yeah, I think on the surface that's how it looks. I mean, I think socialism can be viewed as compassionate. I just think that the problem lies in how it's regulated or enforced, or
Okay.
I mean, I think the issue is whether it's voluntary and freely given compassion or compulsory.
Right. Okay, so a lot of people don't see that distinction, because in the church, God says he loves a cheerful giver, someone who's not under compulsion, meaning someone who is not forced to against their will. So our will has to be in giving.
It's the spirit of generosity, which is the spirit of the Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's this verse in 2 Thessalonians 3, verse 10. It says, for even when we were with you, we gave you this command. The one who is unwilling to work shall not eat. Okay. So that doesn't sound socialist at all. Okay. So here's the thing. We have to be practical when reading the Bible.
Yeah, we can't throw out common sense.
Yeah. A lot of people will say on the socialist side and take all the verses about giving to the poor justice for the widow and the fatherless. And those are all right. Like, we need justice. And so socialism runs on two things, two main things: social justice and social equality. And a lot of people look at those and they don't deeply think about what those mean, right? Like,
Yeah.
social justice to where everyone's status in society is equal. And then, the poor, the inequality where everyone's net worth is equal. That is quite the impossibility.
Yeah.
Because one, it's the first one's a position of the heart, right? Like, we're human beings. We have sin, and we're not always going to look at someone in the best way possible, right? And so human beings, especially if they don't believe in Christ, they don't have the Holy Spirit, they're going to make judgments about someone and lower their status according to what they believe in their heart about that person. And you can't legislate that, right? Like, you can't legislate what someone is thinking or feeling in their heart.
Yeah. And I can see how seeing compassion being like a godly principle, that you would want to legislate it and make everyone act that way.
Yeah.
And make everyone give their money towards this, or whatever, to kind of equalize our value and worth in the Lord.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But I think there's a difference between our value and worth as human beings and what we're given on earth.
Yes.
In this
yes.
life.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. If there are too many widows and orphans, we need to help them, right?
Yeah.
And it was always the job of the church to do that,
Yeah.
right? Not the state. And I think that is the correct delineation, right? Because it's a battle between two kingdoms, really. It's between the kingdom of God or the kingdom of the state. And people go, oh, it's not a kingdom. There's no king in the state. Oh, really? Oh, really? The state is run by democracy, and the democracy is determined by the core values of the people, determining the rules of that democracy. So there is a king behind that, because every value that we have is either from God or it isn't. And that's the problem. Like, so even in the social equality, where everybody should have the same net worth, that doesn't happen at all anywhere in the history of man. That never happened, because if somebody is given, let's say there's a standard net worth of 1 million. I'm just throwing out a number.
Right.
For every person. One person's going to work a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And they earn $101. And so, do you force the
1
other?
million, 1 million. Yeah, right. Yeah.
The other person, like, how do you get the extra $1 for every other person?
Yeah.
Like, force people to work harder?
Not everyone.
Or you're going to steal from that guy.
Right.
See?
And there's some people who would be legitimately happy living in, let's say, 100,000 or whatever.
Well, yeah. I'm
And
just
then
throwing
some
up
people-
a number.
I know, but is that really equal? You know what I mean? Even
No.
if we have the same amount of money, like, maybe some of
No.
us would be really unhappy with that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be. Maybe they want more.
Yeah.
So that's not even really equal.
In our Declaration of Independence, there's that line of, everyone has a right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And again, that's not scripture, but it's based on the total idea of what principles in the scriptures, where people have free will, and they get to choose. One, they have the right to live.
Yeah.
That's why we're pro-life,
Yeah.
because every person, no matter how small or undeveloped they are,
Yeah.
or if they have a mental issue,
Right.
they're set back by that, they have a disease, they have the right to live,
Yes.
right? And within that life, that person gets to choose how to live that life in liberty, which produces the pursuit of happiness, right? It doesn't say you have the right to be happy.
Yeah.
It says you have the right to pursue happiness based on the liberty that you've been given because you have the right to live and the
And live how you want to
and
live.
how live how you want to live. And the founders put that in there because they believed we are all equal in God's sight, right? And that's where they get this equality thing.
Right.
But it's perverted because how God set it up is we are created in his image. Every single person, you know, even the person with like Down syndrome
Yeah.
is created in God's image. You don't just kill them,
Yeah.
you know? So when we look at that, he goes, okay, this is, we live and this is how, you know, we were born. And now God, you know, understands that this is a sinful world. Not everything's perfect. So not all of us are born with the best attributes. And already we are not equal.
Yeah.
We are equal in God's sight, and we should treat each other that way. But we don't have, again, the same skills, the same proclivities. Some of us, you know, have to work harder than other people to achieve the same goals because of how we were born. And so to try to rectify that situation with laws can produce a dangerous society.
Yeah.
Because laws are only laws if they can be enforced. And so when somebody doesn't abide by the law, you know, first there's warnings and then there's fines. And if they don't abide by that, then there's men with guns that will come and take you away, take your liberty away.
Right.
So when we have people who want to have quote unquote equality, but there are people born with less attributes than others, the ones with less attributes will persecute the ones with more, with threat of, you know, men with guns at the end of the day. Like first it starts with, you know, people looking at you bad socially, you know, social persecution, and then fines, and then eventually the men with guns will come and take your liberty away. So that's dangerous because it all depends on who sets the standards.
Yeah, exactly.
And right now, it just seems like there are people setting standards that don't abide by God's law, by the way the word says to live. And so there's all this social conflict, there's this polarization, and there's no way. Like what's happening now is they're taking taxpayer dollars from people who work, like, let's say us, for example. All our kids are homeschooled, but we still pay taxes.
Yeah.
Even though they're not in
To
the public
support
school.
the public school.
Yeah,
Right.
and the public school system, they're teaching that you know, there's more than two genders, there's all this stuff.
They're not teaching our values.
No.
So we don't
No.
support that.
We
but
don't support that.
Well, we still do, though. We have to.
By compulsion.
Yeah.
Because if we don't pay our taxes, then there's warnings, then there's fines,
Right.
and then eventually there's men with guns that they'll say we're taking your freedom away.
Yeah.
And that's the case. It's theft. It's
Yep.
theft because you believe the wrong way. That's what socialism produces.
We're always subject to, I don't know, that whoever's in charge, that majority, you know, group.
Now, it would be different if the majority group is Christian, the majority group that has power.
Yeah.
Because even if you have the majority group by population, but if you don't have the representation,
Right.
which includes the power to change things, then, you know, if you don't have that, then you aren't the majority group.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening now. There's a lot of people who don't have Christian values that are imposing them on people who do have Christian values. And so to say Jesus was a socialist would say you're okay from stealing from other people that have different values than you, which violates thou shalt not steal for sure.
Right. What if, would socialism be okay if people who are Christians were in charge?
Maybe. Now, Christians aren't perfect either.
That's
we
true.
are very flawed, but I think it would be better. It would be better. I mean, you know, the National Socialists in Germany, which were Nazis,
Yeah.
they had this Christian veneer.
Right. They were labeled to be Christian, right?
Yeah, early on they were,
Okay.
and they, they promoted themselves as Christian. The problem is, Christian wouldn't persecute a people group.
They proved not to be.
Yeah, I mean, even if a people group were doing evil things, let's say that, right? Like, let's say in America there was one people group that's doing evil things. We would judge them based on the individual, not the group.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that wasn't a Christian thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't justice. It was just a blanket, blanket condemnation. So yeah, that's the problem. Is like people are flawed when they come into power. They're easily corrupted, and I would admit Christians fall into the same trap all the time.
Yeah.
But I do think it would be better in terms of where the values come from. That's why I think America still has the best system. Is highly flawed too, but I think it has the best system because what we can do is actually fight for our beliefs in the public square.
Yeah. It gives us freedom
Yeah.
to elect, to hire people
Yeah.
to do what we want.
Right. And we live in a constitutional republic.
Right.
And so it's not a straight democracy.
Yeah.
And I think it was Thomas Jefferson, after the country was founded and they won the Revolutionary War, and a lady asked Thomas Jefferson, what kind of government do we have?
Yeah. Because it's something new. It was nothing that anyone had ever done before.
Yeah, he said a republic if you can keep it.
Yeah.
And that was wise because what we have, the freedom we have, must be fought for in every generation. Because, Ronald Reagan said, you can lose liberty in one generation. And so when we look at these things as Christians, we have to be involved. And when it comes to socialism, it's this very, sneaky type of situation where it seems godly at first because, Christians are compassionate. We want to help the poor. We want to help the orphan. We want people who maybe were born on the wrong side of the tracks to have a opportunity.
Yeah.
But what it doesn't tell you is it gives power to a select group of people. And that's what happens in all societies that become purely socialist is you have these groups of people who are the oligarchy who are drinking wine and
Right.
eating fine foods where the equally poor people are slaving away,
Yeah.
and you have basically two classes, rich and poor.
Yeah. And that's the thought that as Christians, we know that, we are not made, we're not born good.
Yeah.
We're born flawed.
Yeah.
And anyone, it's like the Lord of the Rings, the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
It brings out who you really are.
It does.
And when you're presented with the opportunity for power,
Yeah.
for authority,
Yeah.
it gets so easily corrupted. And
Easily
we
corrupted.
know that that's just where it will go. Even a good person can become corrupt.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we have to be very careful. And I think this system that we have, again, it's not perfect at all, but I think it's the best because when you think about it, you have your life, you have the liberty to live it the way you want. So if you want to make $50,000 a year, you could do that and be happy. If you want to make $1 million, you want to be a CEO and put all that work in for that, you can do that. You want to be a house mom, you can do that. You want to be an athlete, you can do that. It's just you have to work for it.
Yeah.
You got to work for what you want. And that's why, in 2 Thessalonians is, I give you this command. Those who aren't willing to work shall not eat. Meaning you can't just live off the work of other people so that you could live your lifestyle. You got to contribute. And I find that socialism does work when it's a small group.
When it's like a small community.
Yeah.
Intimate, and everyone agrees.
Yeah.
And it's done by free will.
Free
right?
will. Like a church of 100 people.
Right.
It actually is beautiful. because you don't have to make a law.
Right.
There's no threat of violence if
Right.
you don't do it. It's just the culture.
Yes.
The culture is like, hey, we want to give to this person. Let's see what we can sacrifice so this person can live, can not have to be poor, and let's get him on his feet. But there's this underlying attitude. Once we get them on their feet, they can learn to fish for themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
they support themselves, and then they
Yeah.
contribute
they contribute.
to the good of the whole
Right.
group.
Yeah, because the goal is you become a contributor
Yeah.
for the next person who is in need. Pay it forward. But human nature is lazy. Human nature is
Yeah.
greedy. And so if there's a vehicle where you can stay there perpetually, they'll just stay there perpetually,
Yeah.
right?
I was watching this video on YouTube of this guy cleaning up some really bad places in LA,
Yeah.
and some homeless guys came over to help clean up the
Yeah.
area.
Okay.
He paid him a little bit, and one of the guys who was homeless was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to live this way, but I just, got on drugs and I'm not proud of it. But he said,
Yeah.
it's really easy to stay lazy.
It's really easy to stay lazy.
And it is. I mean,
yeah.
that's human nature.
It's human nature. But you see, that hits on something deeper. If you don't have a relationship with the Lord, that means you don't know what he made you to do.
Right.
Because everyone was made for a purpose. And if you don't have a purpose, and the only purpose is for your own happiness, yeah, laziness seems like the right way. Screw everyone else. It's my life. I need to be happy. And if that means, leeching off other people, then so be it. So I think I understand that.
Yeah.
But when you have the Lord, you're like, I can't be the person always in need. I need to become someone who can give to the person in need now, because that's who God created me to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think these, state programs, and, taxes and everything, it takes away from Christians' need to give and to contribute.
Right.
Because, you look
Right.
at the numbers of Christians who tithe, it's super low.
Yeah.
And it's like, but because someone else is taking care of the poor and the widows and orphans, right?
Definitely.
And that should be our job. But
should
we don't
be our
have
job.
to anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's
And
laziness
so-
on the Christians' part.
Yeah.
But in defense of the Christians, these government programs are ineffective. They are a way to launder money. They're a way for corruption. People are getting rich off of the backs of the poor. And so it's a double-edged sword, because now the state of California, everyone pays more than 10% of their income in taxes through other means, like state, local. We have a thing called Melrose where you pay for the schools in your area, right? Where that's supposed to be the property taxes
Right.
job, but you pay on top of that.
Over that, yeah.
Yeah, and then now you got to pay. They're trying to make you pay a tax on every mile you drive, even though there's a tax on the gas
Right.
that's supposed to pay for the roads and stuff. Like, this adds up to more than 10%. It's like 30 to 50%.
Yeah.
So we're tithing to a God
Yeah.
who's called the state. And that God is not using the money well. In fact, it's used for corruption. Right? The LA Unified School District today, I found out, got raided by the FBI because of corruption.
Right.
So it's a big problem, and we're not a socialist nation, but we have a lot of socialist problems, and we're already feeling the effects of it.
Yep.
The money, the billions in California are thrown to help the homeless not be homeless, only produced more homelessness.
Yep. And got the people who are in charge of the programs super rich.
Super rich. And this is the problem.
Yeah.
It is not a heart transformation. You're trying to fix a problem that starts in the heart, is people being, judgmental, people not being, loving towards your poor neighbor, not helping them out. That's a heart problem.
Yeah.
You're trying to throw money at the problem, and the source of the money is from the people that you have a law, if not followed, is enforced by the threat of violence.
Yeah.
This is not a godly system, as
Yeah.
you can see. This is man's system, and It's inefficient and it's prone to corruption. And so socialism to me just looks like a terrible end to a nation. And so as Christians, I don't think you guys should be socialists. I think you guys should be kingdom minded.
And you should tithe and give
Yes, true.
support. Give to
Yes.
Christian charities.
Yes, full disclosure, pastors that have a church. So, we could do a lot with the money and we could show you what we do with it, unlike your government who hides what they do with the
Right.
money.
Right.
So, hopefully that's helpful. And I know there's a lot of discussion and debate about this subject, but I don't believe Jesus was a socialist. He sacrificed himself for the good of other people. He didn't tell the Jewish religious leaders or the Roman government to do that. He
Right.
did it himself. And
Yeah.
so we Christians have to do it for ourselves to help the poor and the widow and the orphan.
Yep.
All right, that's it for today. Please like and subscribe and check out this video coming up that YouTube is going to recommend. And we love you all. Godspeed and God bless. Bye.
Bye.